The Blue Lock manga recently ended, and I've decided to give it a fair critique. In the one video I talk about it, I'm comparing it to all of the manga in the sports genre that I know. Furthermore, I was using it as an example as something that I dislike in the genre. I've never talked about how it stands on its own merits. My new style for these videos is to jump right into my likes and dislikes about the chapter, no summary. Let's start with chapter 1. I usually don't talk about art, but in the sports genre, actions are extremely important, so the clarity of those actions has to be conveyed well in order for the manga to be enjoyed. The way the moves are drawn in this manga are great. They have dynamic poses and are shot from good angles. But the story is always more important than the art, and that's where the problems begin. I'm not going to repeat myself because I've already talked about the stupidity of the things that Ego says. Watch my video, The Problem with Sports Anime and Manga, for more details. I'll probably link it. The concept of trying to make Japan's national team win a World Cup is interesting, but the execution leaves much to be desired. This chapter was not good. In chapter 2, everyone in the camp is apparently a forward. I'll bring that up later, more so if I continue this series. Permanently barring people who fail from the national team is a high stake, but it's also kind of stupid from a setting perspective. Why limit the amount of potential players? What if your players quit or get injured? But that's a nitpick. The game of tag is really stupid. When I consume sports stories, I want to see the players play real matches as soon as possible. So seeing an exercise is a little bit underwhelming, but expected. Even the greats like Haikyuu and Ahiru don't jump straight into a match. But the issue doesn't end there. The concept is to kick the ball into another player to tag them. The person who is it when time runs out is eliminated. Kicking the ball into another player is not a skill that should ever be used in a real game. This kind of exaggeration and absurdity is appalling to me. The next thing that pissed me off was one player kicking another in the face. Once again, this is something that would never happen in a real match. In fact, it would be a foul, probably a red card. Soon after, some guy grabs the main character so that he'll get hit. Again, something that wouldn't be allowed in soccer. More grabbing and attacking goes on. When the exercise ends, Ego tries to justify this BS by saying that it tests positioning and accuracy. As stupid as it may be, I understand the accuracy, but how does avoiding a ball being shot at you test positioning? In what situation would a player be running away from and dodging a ball? I'm sure casual sports fans would eat this up, but I can't fathom how an actual fan of sports could enjoy this chapter. This chapter was atrocious. Chapter 3. I actually rock with the endurance at the start of the chapter. It is definitely an important part of the sport, and I respect that the manga was able to do something right. I can't say that I enjoy the interactions of the characters outside of them playing the sport. Considering many battle manga can make throwaway conversations between characters interesting when that isn't their specialty, I don't think that this is a very hard thing to accomplish. The whole monster thing is a little silly to me, but I won't hold that against the story. This is a type of exaggeration that I can deal with because it's entirely metaphorical. Not much happens in this chapter, so I'll give it a grade of okay. Chapter 4. Characters are put in teams, and they even begin to acknowledge the absurdity of having a team of all forwards. Members are forced to cover other positions. That in itself shows that forwards are not all that matters. Ego makes some stupid argument about soccer starting as a sport with all forwards, but today it isn't like that, and for a good reason. So how does this statement support the idea that they should all play as forwards if soccer has progressed to having several positions? The answer is that it doesn't. This character just continues to spout nonsense. Soon after, he has another dumb quote. The most important thing for Japan to become the best country in the world is not the teamwork between 11 players, it is to have a hero among them. End quote. A team with just one player carrying will almost always be worse than a team with 11 good players. That's just common sense for any team sport. If that hero gets injured or gets a red card, how's the team gonna survive? If your hero is being targeted by the opposing team and you can't get any passes to him, what are you gonna do? The ideologies of this manga are so stupid. This chapter was bad. That's the end of volume 1. As I said in the sports video, this is a horrible start to a manga. 1 okay chapter and 3 poor chapters in one volume. People keep telling me it gets better. I'm sure Boruto gets better too, but that doesn't negate all the garbage that I had to go through in order to get to those better parts. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, and check out my manga for free online. If you enjoy my content, please consider donating to my Patreon. All important links will be in the description.